Hi there, this is Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with segment 2 of the Rogue Market for November. In segment number 1, we went over the modern and legacy cards to pick up right now from the Scars of Mirrodin block, and this one we're going to be focusing more on standard and what cards you should be picking up in standard and following the Magic Online trends to see which cards are going to be going up. And I just have a top 5 list for you. I know that segment 1 was quite long, so I'll keep this one short. So the first card I want to talk about is Thundermaw Hellkite. Thundermaw Hellkite is incredibly expensive on Magic the Gathering Online right now, and a month ago it wasn't. When I was redeeming M13 sets, I was picking up Thundermaw Hellkites for about 6 to 7 tickets. They weren't seeing any play in the last format, and when Return to Ravnica came out, initially they were seeing very limited play, if any at all, and so they were very, very, very cheap to pick up. But we've seen a skyrocketing in price. They're now around 20 to 24 tickets a piece. And the reason behind that is they have found a home in not one deck, but I would say 3 very competitive decks, very popular decks. The first one being the latest flavor of the week, which is UWR Midrange, that runs usually 2 to 3 copies of Thundermaw Hellkite. This is the deck with Snapcaster, Restoration, Geist of St. Traft, and Augur of Bolas, and they use Thundermaw Hellkite as a finisher. So they control the board until they have enough mana for Thundermaw Hellkite and some control magic, and then it's a 4-turn clock with Thundermaw, and even quicker with maybe even a Snapcaster out. So it found a home there and is doing very well. I'd say this is the most popular deck of the week. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it locally. I'm seeing it on Magic the Gathering Online standard dailies. I'm seeing it in the 2-man queues. So it is the most popular deck by far. And it's a 2 or 3 of. So that is the spike increase, the main spike increase for Thundermaw Hellkite. But also with Red Deck Wins. Red Deck Wins is usually a very popular deck to more casual players, more newcomers. There are just certain people that love aggressive decks. I used to be one of them. I used to be one of those that only ran Red Deck Wins type deck. But now I like more mid-range. Junk mid-range is probably my favorite deck in a long time that I've played. My favorite deck ever is an Oversold Cemetery deck back in the old Mirrodin. Oversold Cemetery and Death Cloud. I love that deck. And another one of my favorite decks was Kamigawa Ravnica when I ran Wildfire and Magnivore. So I am more of a mid-rangey type deck. I mean, you won't ever see me running blue. Usually, I'm not one of those type players, but I am more of a mid-rangey green-black player. So anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Red Deck Wins is very popular to newcomers. They just like to end the game. It's pretty straightforward. You don't have to really have as much complicated interactions with your opponent that you do with other decks. You play your cards and try to smack them as quick as possible. So Thundermaw Hellkite is a great card for Red Deck Wins. They finally become smart and added it. It's a 5 mana for 5/5 flying that taps down any of the blockers. So it's usually a guaranteed 5 damage unless they can counter it, or the card that I'm loving right now, Celestia Charm, which I think is its answer to Thundermaw, but it hasn't quite caught up yet. More Thundermaws are being played than Celestia Charms right now. So it found a home in Red Deck Wins. Also, people are starting to use it in Jund, which has been, I would say, the most popular deck since Return to Ravnica has come out. Consistently popular. It's been popular since week 1, and it still is. I would still say it's a top 5 deck right now. Not as popular as it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but it's still very popular. And people have been starting to switch out Olivia's for Thundermaw Hellkites, or a combination of both. But I know some people that swear by Thundermaw Hellkite. I know there was the guy that took Florida States wrote an article about how Thundermaw Hellkite basically won every one of his rounds. You get it out, you've controlled the board, you get it out, and then you continue to control the board. They are on a fast clock. So with being Thundermaw Hellkite finding a home in 3 of the top decks, that's the reason for the spike increase. Star City Games still has it at 18. It was around 12. I think it bottomed out at 12 and then was up to 14. But it still is at 18, which I think it has a lot of room to grow. Mythics, usually their ceiling is $30. You rarely see a Mythic get over $30. We saw Bonfire get over $30, and we saw Jace, Architect of Thought, which is still above $30, but the bonfires come down to $30, and then we got Geist, Liliana. Trying to think of a few. There's a few others that are at $30, and Treat the Angels, Tameo, I believe. And it's hard for Mythics to go above $30. That's kind of their ceiling. So Thundermaw Hellkite at 18 is seeing just as much play as any of those cards that I've said. I'd even say it's seeing more play than Tameo or Entreat the Angels. So it does have room to grow. Also, Sublime Archangel's in the same set, and it's at 25 right now. And Thundermaw Hellkite's seen a lot more play than Sublime Archangel. Yeah, Sublime Archangel is in Celestia Aggro and a couple other decks, but it's not nearly in as many decks as Thundermaw Hellkite is right now. So pick up the Thundermaw Hellkites. I expect them to be 25 within the end of the month. They could hit the ceiling at 30, but it's a pretty safe investment. Going on to number 2, Garruk Primal Hunter. This is another card that I was picking up at $5 to $6 when I was redeeming M13 sets, and now online it is $15. The reasoning being is Band Control and Jund decided this card was awesome. It's their card drawing generator. A lot of Jund decks prefer this over Underworld Connections or use a combination of the two. And also it spits out beast tokens, and you know, if it's against a control deck, they have a clock before they have to answer, otherwise you get a gazillion 6/6 worm tokens that will just end the game. So Garruk has finally found a home, and he's been, showing up on top 8 lists everywhere, and that is the reason for the increase on Magic Gathering Online. However, Star City still has him at 8. He is sold out though in both M12 and 13, so I'm thinking Star City's going to be increasing their price immediately, so pick those up now. I picked up 4 of last Friday Night Magic. I have now a playset of Garruk Primal Hunters, and I tried to pick up a few more, but I'm still pretty low on my inventory. I don't know if I explained this before, but back in March, all my cards were stolen, and my car window was broken, and backpacks were stolen, and I'm sure they end up in the garbage because I'm sure the people were just looking for laptops or iPods and stuff like that and didn't find any and didn't know what they were and checked in the garbage. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, my inventory is a little low on real life, but if I did have inventory, I would have traded it all for Primal Hunters. That's how much confidence I have in this card being a very stable card in not only this format, but as well as when Gate Crash comes out. I think it might find a home in a red-green mid-range deck. Gruul last time was very aggressive, and it also had kind of a mid-rangey feel to it as well. So I'm expecting it to be that way again. Speaking of Gruul, number 3 on the list is a card that I think will make waves next format and is already starting to make waves in this format, which is Hellrider. Hellrider is going to be a Boros card, and it is going to be a Naya card or a Gruul card. I guarantee it. I guarantee RG aggro will come back. I guarantee Boros aggro will be a big deal, and Hellrider will find a home in both of those. It's already starting to see a price spike on Magic Gathering Online, and today Star City did increase the price from $3 to $4. A month ago it was $2, and I was picking them up like crazy. So if you haven't picked up your Hellriders, I still think there's room to grow. Hellrider Online is hit 6 tickets apiece, which for rares that's very hard to top. Snapcaster's at 6. Caverns of Souls are at 6. Both of those are 25 in real life. The only rares that I can think of in standard right now, besides Return to Ravnica, which are all going to fall, are Restoration Angel and Thragtusk that are more expensive than 6 tickets. So it's a very, very safe investment. It's only going to go up. It's being used in red deck wins like crazy. I've seen it in some other tier 2, tier 3 decks, and like I said, I guarantee come Gate Crash, it is a card that is going to see play. Number 4 is Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. These are going for 22 tickets on Magic Online. They found a home in Esper Super Friends, which is an awesome deck. I'll be doing a video about Esper Super Friends coming soon. I love that deck. I'm usually not a control player, but it's really fun, and I get to use my Jaces. So I'll be making a video of Esper Super Friends, and in my build, Sorin is a 3 of. And also, if you've watched my Junk mid-range decks, he is a 2 of in my Junk mid-range. A lot of people consider Sorin the other Thragtusk, and let me explain why they say that. Thragtusk is a card that comes in, gives you 5 life, gives you a chump blocker, and then it gives you a token when it dies. You get a 3/3 beast token. Sorin comes into play, You immediately +1 it. It gives you a token that can gain life and chump block. So it gains a life and chump block, and you have to kill 4 toughness of the Sorin. So against aggro decks, that's 5 life that Sorin immediately absorbs. And if he survives a turn or two, he's absorbing even more. And that's not even counting what the 1/1 chump blocked. So Sorin is the non-greens Thragtusk, and that's why he's seeing a lot of play, even if he just does get that, absorb that initial 5 damage to help them stabilize against zombies or red deck wins. Of course, you can't ignore Sorin and just go for you, but then you get 1/1 life blinkers that, will get that 5 life back eventually if you, ignore them. So Sorin is $18 on Star City, but it is sold out. So again, right now is probably the best time to pick up a Sorin, and or multiple copies of them. Sorry about that phone ring right there. Now we'll move on to number 5. Number 5 is my only Return to Ravnica card. I have told people sell, Return to Ravnica. And the reasoning being is November 15th is when Magic the Gathering Online is allowing redemption sets for Return to Ravnica. And that means that I, personally, as a casual player, have 8 sets of Return to Ravnica. That's how much stock I just decided to get as much stock as how many Jaces I opened. And I initially bought Jaces at 22 tickets a piece and made a deck out of them because I wanted to run a band control. And then I proceeded to various sealeds and drafts get 4 more. So I'm like, hell, if I got the most expensive card, then I might as well redeem the entire set. And I also was very lucky with Angel Serenities, and that's why I have 8 sets that I'm going to be redeemed. Minimum of 8 sets. I don't know how many I'll have by November 15th. And if I'm a casual player, I know that those bots have hundreds of sets each they're going to be redeeming. So about November 22nd to the 25th is when those are going to start showing up. It takes about a week to 2 weeks for the redemption sets to show up. So anyway, that is why I say sell Return to Ravnica. They've already, the craze has ran out. People have already got their playsets of what they need, at least all the the big spenders, and now we'll just see some residual popularity in cards that might find new homes. There's a couple cards I think are stable, like Deathrite Shaman and possibly like Underworld Connections Ash Zealot, but there's one card in particular that I think is undervalued right now, and that is Sphinx's Revelation. It is seeing tons in play in Esper. It's seeing tons of play in Bant. Bant have started adding a lot of copies of Sphinx's Revelation. I've seen lists up to 3 to 4 Sphinx's Revelations main boarded. It's that good. And UWR Miracles, which has fallen off the radar a bit, uses Sphinx's Revelations a ton as well. So Star City has it at 6. That's a very, very, very cheap mythic. This is the name they have Niv Mizzet at. Niv Mizzet isn't seeing any play. So that's a very, very, very safe card to pick up as Sphinx's Revelations. It's seeing more play than Rakdos' Return. It's more expensive than Magic the Gathering Online. Rakdos' Return is about 9 tickets, and Sphinx's Revelation is about 10 to 11 tickets. So if you are going to be picking up any Return to Ravnica cards, I would focus on Sphinx's Revelation. So those are my top 5. We'll go over them one more time. Thundermaw Hellkite, Garruk, Primal Hunter, Hellrider, Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, and Sphinx's Revelation. So once again, I'll be doing this every about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe sooner depending on available content. Sell your Return to Ravnica. I'll say that again. Sell the Return to Ravnica. When Innistrad was in print, we saw their lands go down to about $4 a piece. Now they're up to about $8 to $12 a piece now, but I expect maybe the Shocklands next in a year they can go back up to that. But I think that the Shocklands, because they're popular in Modern and a few other formats, that they might stay consistent around 8 to 12, but they're not going to stay consistent at 15 to 18, which they are now. So get rid of them now, trade back for them in a month, and just make profit off that. Selling high, buying low. I, for example, traded 2 Overgrown Tombs last Friday Night Magic and Armada Worm for Sorins and Garruk, Primal Hunter, and all these other cards that I feel are going up. And yeah, I actually do need those cards to play my standard deck, so I need to pick up another Overgrown Tomb, 2 more Overgrown Tombs and Armada Worm for my deck. But it's I kind of have the, I don't know, I come across traders that absolutely will not trade certain cards. Like, no, that's in my deck, that's in my collection, I won't trade it. There's a price for anything, and that's how I trade those overgrown tombs. This guy needed an overgrown tomb. He was willing to trade 2 Sorins for an overgrown tomb and an Armada Worm, and I knew both of those were going down, and so I jumped on it. And now, now Sorin's at 18, and overgrown tomb's still at 18, but Armada Worm's down to 14, I believe. And so I've made profit right there, and can easily trade them both back for overgrown tombs and something else. So that's just the Magic financial world. And if you become educated, if you start following trends, you can make quite a bit of profit buying and selling Magic cards. And I'm here to assist you with that. So I hope you subscribe, listen to my or watch my rogue market videos, and I'll continue to deliver. Once again, this is Kevin from RogueDipper.com. Thanks for watching.